Hey, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I am back with another astrological tea video. And I promised you the second half of this Cardi B, Nicki Minaj altercation, New York Fashion Week fiasco. So in this video, I will be focusing on Nicki Minaj's natal chart and see, what's the reasoning behind what she's been doing as of lately, and why this altercation happened, and different things about Nicki's natal chart to kind of let you guys in on her characteristics and what's really going on in there. So I'm about to spill the tea, of course, and we're gonna get right into it. We're not gonna waste any time here, and I'm actually glad I waited a little bit to do this video, because every single day it is more tea and more tea that's spilling. So I actually did Cardi's video a couple days ago, and I just uploaded it today, but now I'm actually doing Nicki's video on Friday, September 14th. And I got even more tea and more info that I'm going to provide to you. And I forgot to do this in the Cardi video, but I will provide information on Cardi's transits. Hopefully I won't forget. But I'm definitely going to talk about Nicki's transits, because Nicki has been in the news consistently for like the entire summer. So yeah, we got to talk about that. All right, so first off, Nicki was born on December 8th, 1982 in Trinidad at 9:25 a.m. Now, I believe Astro Theme has this as a verified birth time, so that would peg her as an Aquarius rising, which, very, very fitting, especially her fashion sense and even her different colored wigs and stuff. Remember I told you about Aquarius energy being out there and being kind of, alien-like, and being, very different, always trying to, break the mold and do something different and things of that nature. So that's very Aquarius. That's also the sign of the internet and social media and all of that jazz. So we're going to get into that. And you know how I love to discuss numerology. So Nicki is a number 8. 8 is akin to Saturn energy, which Saturn rules Capricorn. All right, so there's a lot of things in her chart that echo that 8 energy. So in a nutshell, this is somebody who's all about their business all the time, and will basically stop at nothing and kind of by any means necessary to, maintain her bag, maintain her money, maintain her status, maintain her reputation, because Saturn has to deal with reputation, status, legacy, long money, and all of that type of stuff. And what Nicki is kind of giving off, as I go in more in her chart, because she also has a Capricorn South Node, y'all. You know how I like to get into the nodes. By any means necessary, Capricorn is all about their business. And, sometimes, a Capricorn might be like, it's just business. It's not personal, but it's like it is, especially obviously with her having this North Node in Cancer. All right. So, she obviously has her sun in Sagittarius. She's a Sag, and I mentioned this in the Cardi video that Cardi is, Cardi is not a Gemini. She's actually a Libra, but Cardi has the South Node in Gemini, which is opposite the Sagittarius energy. And I mentioned that because Cardi's South Node is in Gemini, which means her North Node is in Sagittarius, which means Sagittarian-like characteristics are what she should aspire to. Now, I'm not saying that Cardi should aspire to be like Nicki in terms of her personality. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about, the highest chakras of that, manifestation, because, Nicki kind of does exhibit some dark-sided Sagittarian traits. Okay, so Nicki does have a pretty mean stellium in Sag. She has her Uranus, Venus, her Sun, Neptune, and Mercury in Sagittarius. So this is somebody who is, like, for lack of a better word, very high and mighty, like very hypocritical even, because, Sagittarians can come off as, having that kind of God complex, thinking they know it all and everything like that. They have this whole philosophical, kind of thought process where you know, they're looking at the big picture, and they, you know, can kind of blow things out of proportion. And, you know, it's mutable energy as well. So it can be kind of all over the place a little bit. But the biggest thing I want to take away with the Sagittarius energy is the mindset, and this is on the dark side, that you are better than these subjects, because Sagittarius energy believes that they're God. You know what I'm saying? They are a religious sign, and I'm not saying that Nicki Minaj in particular is religious, but they are the sign of religion. They are one of the signs of spirituality and things of that nature. And so definitely that God complex comes into play. Definitely, you know, Nicki Minaj has a tendency to accidentally make a point in a lot of instances. And I do want to preface this by, I'm not Team Nicki or Team Cardi. I like both of their music. I like both of them, but I'm not like stans or in the Barty gang or a Barb or anything like that. So I don't think that I specified that in the last video. But yeah, so that Sagittarius energy can be very kind of pompous and kind of like, you know, I'm better. Like, I'm the queen, like literally, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm of this, you know, worldly type of stature, and you're just like a peasant, you know. And that's kind of how Nicki feels in reference to maintaining her spot. And that also goes back to her Capricorn South node as well. You know, she, you know, has this thing about her being the only female rapper out there that should be popping. She's not going to say this, you know, outright, but that's kind of the vibe that we get. And another big thing, pun intended, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and represents big things and everything like that. It does represent a big mouth. It represents a big, loud mouth, obnoxious mouth. And, you know, she has her Queen Radio thing that's popping off right now. And all of a sudden, Nicki Minaj is the podcaster. Go figure. So, yes. So Sagittariuses are not afraid to speak their mind. They're not afraid to speak the truth. Sagittarius is all about speaking the truth. But let me tell you a little something about her chart here. All right, so she got her Mercury in Sag at the 26th degree, echoes that Capricorn energy, conjunct her Neptune in Sag, also at the 26th degree, compounds that Capricorn energy, because 2 and 26 breaks down to 8. So that's that Saturn energy right there. So Mercury has to deal with communication in the media. And Neptune actually has to deal with Hollywood and, you know, like the glitz and glamour, but it also has to deal with deception and lies and things like that. So as much as Sagittarius is about being a truth teller, sometimes with an aspect such as Mercury conjunct Neptune, that can have you come off as a bit of a liar, or somebody who's deceiving in some type of way, or even just sneaky. And there have been, you know, reports of, you know, Nicki Minaj, you know, some people allegedly making some claims about this type of thing. Kind of like behind the scenes doing stuff, even with her barbs going through, you know, the screenshots and the, you know, the receipts and everything, and sending them to her, down to her having the woman on her Queen Radio show that Cardi B said something about, and there's screenshots of this, so this isn't really an alleged thing, said something about her child a few years back. Apparently this was back in 2014, 2015. Some of the barbs found this comment and put it all on blast, since, you know, Cardi wanted to talk about how, you know, Nicki, you know, was allegedly talking about her child. So Nicki had to put something out there where Cardi was talking about somebody else's child. So you can go look that up. It's all over social media. All right. So yeah, that Mercury conjunct Neptune can really wreak havoc when it comes to speaking in the media, and especially social media, because Nicki is like literally posting some stuff every single day. Even before this whole Cardi thing popped off, when her album Queen came out, and she was upset that it didn't go to #1 and was blaming Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner and her like 7-month-old baby Stormy, like a picture that it was just a mess. And I can kind of attribute that to her Virgo moon, because a Sagittarius energy in and of itself may not care so much about that per se, but this Virgo moon, let me tell you, you guys got to go back to my my Virgo video. Virgo energy is petty Betty. This is the petty part of Nicki Minaj all day. Okay, this is the part of her that wants to get all of the receipts, all of the information, honey, because also Virgo is ruled by Mercury as well. So this is, you know, the way that she communicates. So this is why Nicki, one of the reasons why Nicki is so hung up on when people are, you know, saying things about her, or even like criticizing her music or her writing, or she's not like maybe getting the accolades that she wants. She cares. She's very sensitive. That Virgo moon makes her very sensitive. And when she would make all of these comments on social media and then come back and say, I'm just joking, you know, because that's very Sag or whatever, you know, don't take it seriously and this and that and the third. She actually does really, you know, care and things like that. Like, this stuff actually really hurts her feelings, you know, when people don't like her, when, you know, y'all making her out to be the bad guy, Chun-Li, you know what I'm saying? Like, that actually hurts her feelings. She's sensitive, you know what I'm saying? You know, but that Sag energy, is definitely the part of her. Remember, she was on Queen Radio and she was talking about, you think Harriet Tubman was thinking about eating rice when she was taking slaves to freedom? I'm like, you know, I never actually listened to an episode of Queen Radio, but the clips that I've heard, they low-key have me living. So I don't know, like, it's like, it's entertaining, but as far as her music career is concerned and her rap career, like, I don't know if it's the best look for like a superstar to be, you know, podcasting like that. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. No, it actually is relevant, because you know, she's been doing this Queen Radio thing ever since her album came out. So it's almost been a month, or it has been a month. So this is her, you know, being more vocal. And she also has, to kind of compound with that Mercury conjunct Neptune energy, she has her sun at the 16th degree. 16 breaks down to 7, and that's Neptune energy. So she's already, you know, susceptible to, you know, being deceived and being lied to, but also being the deceiver, like doing the lying and things of that nature. So you also have to keep that in mind. Now, Jupiter is in Scorpio right now, and she has Jupiter in Scorpio natally at the 26th degree also. So, you know, there are, you know, and she has this in her 10th house. So this is, you know, equating to the exposure. Cardi B has been being exposed to. All the receipts are popping out of the woodworks for everybody. It's crazy. It's a mess. One of the biggest things that I've noticed with Nicki Minaj, in particular with transits, I'm gonna go to my transit screen. She has her Mars in Capricorn, and Mars has been transiting her natal Capricorn for a minute, because it was in retrograde and it just got out of retrograde. And I mentioned before, Mars is the planet of action and assertion and of conflict. And that's kind of why she's been in conflict with so many people, and it's touching her ascendant, her rising sign. This is why she's kind of been in conflict with so many people and things like that, because, you know, of this transit that's happening. You know what I mean? So, I definitely, you know, Nicki has time right now. She has time to talk. She has time to, you know, speak her mind and to get in people's faces and this and that and the third. You know, I do believe that she, you know, did kind of probably provoke Cardi in some type of way. I don't know if this was happening, you know, behind the scenes and things like that. But it's like the second after Cardi had that baby, she was ready. You know what I mean? So we're going to take a look at Nicki's aspects. But before I do that, I do want to just talk about this nodal axis that she has. Okay. She has North Node in Cancer. All right. And Cancer represents women. You know what I mean? So clearly Nicki Minaj has a problem with women. You know, she's publicly had problems with quite a few very, you know, high profile female rappers in particular. And it's just interesting that the North Node just happens to be in the 6th house of work. So in this lifetime, Nicki needs to be, and this doesn't necessarily mean that she has to have children per se, although a Cancer North Node does point to children and a family and that type of thing, less emphasis on work and career. But it also means being more nurturing, you know what I mean? So being more of a motherly type of figure, and that could be even to, you know, the new female rappers that are coming out, emphasis on the word female because her North Node is in Cancer, and this is in her 6th house of work. So this means, you know, working with women, you know, doing better with working with women. And this is something that clearly she struggles with because she kind of has to understand the ways of women in this lifetime. You know what I mean? She has a lot of masculine energy, you know, with that Sag right there. And it's kind of difficult for her to relate to women on a personal level, on a one-on-one level. And that's what she would need to be striving towards in this lifetime. And that Capricorn South Node is very Capricorn energy is very opportunistic. It's all about getting to the top, like I said, by any means necessary. Capricorn energy can be the types of people that, you know, sell their soul and things like that. And you know, I'm not saying that she necessarily did that, but you know, a lot of people think that a lot of high profile celebrities have done that. But you know, it's not that she shouldn't have a career in this lifetime, which she needs to be doing along with her career because her North Node is in the 6th house of work. She needs to be more nurturing basically to her fellow sister, to her fellow female rapper, if you will. And she's had a lot of conflicts with a lot of people. And I low key kind of feel like, okay, so most of the features on her album Queen were of men, except for the song with Foxy Brown, which I didn't really care for. And it's like, is that the only female rapper that you're cool with, that, you know, you just wanted to throw that song on the album so people can see that you can get along with women? That's low-key kind of how I saw that, you know what I mean? And in a way, like, I kind of understand, because when she came into the game, there were literally no female rappers on the scene. And now all of a sudden, you know, you got these female rappers coming on the scene, particularly Cardi. And, you know, Cardi, you know, allegedly doesn't actually write her rhymes and things like that. And it's not as talented of a rapper as Nicki is. Although I do believe that Cardi has the capability to write her rhymes because she does have Mercury and Scorpio. I wish I would have talked about that in her video. But, you know, I low key kind of feel like people may need to give her a little bit more credit on the writing tip, because I think that, you know, she actually might be more talented than, you know, she lets on with that. However, you know, Nicki was that it girl for several years. And then Cardi was really the only one that really gave her a run for her money. You know what I mean? Remy came back and she came with Sheether, but she didn't really come with no mainstream hits. You know, Iggy Azalea was out. She was hot for a moment and then gone. So it really wasn't anybody else on that mainstream level that was touching Nicki. Nicki was the queen of hip hop. I would say, like, at the time, she still kind of is the queen of hip hop right now. You know what I'm saying? But she doesn't want to give up that spot. She really doesn't want to give up that spot. And, you know, she should, per her chart, focus more on trying to, you know, work with other women and collaborate with other women to make something great and things of that nature. But she's so stuck on that Capricorn South Node and her reputation and, you know, by any means necessary, staying on top, that, you know, that may that's kind of pointing her out to be the bad guy, or she's missing out on opportunities, or, you know, making unnecessary enemies and things like that. So also I wanted to talk briefly about Chiron. So she has Chiron in Taurus, and Taurus does deal with the voice. And with Chiron in Taurus, that could deal with, you know, some type of healing or wounds that need to happen with the voice. Not necessarily like a singing voice or whatever, but you know, speaking, you know, your words can, you know, kind of hurt you or come back to you. And this whole thing about nowadays, everything is about digging up old tweets, digging up old, you know, screenshots of Instagram and things like that from 4 or 5 years ago. The stuff is public information, so everybody's going to do it. Also, in reference to social media, she has all of her Sag energy in her 11th house. And like I mentioned with Cardi's chart, this is the house that's akin to Aquarius, which is the internet, which is social media and everything like that. So this is why Nicki stays on social media, and this probably will not change, y'all. I'm just letting you know. She adores the Barbs. She adores her fans, even to the point where the Barbs are ready to fight for her, and things of that nature. And you know, this is something that's very important to her brand. It's very important to her career, as is with Cardi. So it's not something that, you know, she's going to stop doing. Obviously, she should log off, but she's going to keep on popping off. And that just is what it is. Nicki has Moon square Venus, so that's a direct conflict with women, relationships with women. She also has Moon square Mercury, and that's issues with communication or dealing with women in terms of communication. It could also, the Moon also has to represents the mother, but we're not really talking about the mother in this instance. We're talking about women, and the Moon does rule women. She does have Moon trine Mars, so that would equate to a better relationship with men, although she's pissed off some men too, as well. There's that. She has Moon square Neptune. I believe Cardi had this same aspect. So that could have to deal with lies from women, lying to women, or being deceived, or something along those lines, and just dealing with, you know, Hollywood, dealing with the glitz and glamour and all of that stuff. Let's see here. Looks like she has Mars square Saturn, so that's going to be a challenge and hindrance to, you know, her growth. She's really gonna have to work hard. You know, she's going to have to work really hard to stay on top. And she's mentioned this, that, you know, she kind of gets the brunt of the blame a lot of the times, because she has the talent, you know, she has the tenure and all of that type of stuff. So she's judged a little bit more harshly than some of the other female rappers that are out. And she also has Mars square Pluto. So that's a very, you know, handsy aspect. That's domestic violence type of aspect. It's also a power play aspect as well. Remember the whole situation where her and Safari, when Safari alleged that she like stabbed him or something like that? That's very Mars square Pluto, honey. That's very much so. I also did want to point out, I don't know if I mentioned this in my other videos, but Mercury also rules siblings. And we all know about the situation between Nicki Minaj and her brother being this, you know, alleged rapist, and her bailing her brother out. And he was an alleged rapist of a very, very young girl, about 12 or 13 or something like that. And she speaks nothing of this. And, you know, she doesn't condemn her brother or anything like that. To me, that's Mercury conjunct Neptune all day. This is like being delusional about, you know, issues with your siblings and things of that nature. So, and then you put that in, you know, Sagittarius and everything like that. This is like, you know, her feeling like she has this like moral, you know, high ground and everything like that. Remember I said Sagittarius is the sign of morality, but it's also hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that Jupiter can be very deceiving. It's generous. It's giving. You know, she's been giving a lot to people in terms of, you know, helping them with their college tuition and bills and things like that. Allegedly, she gave some money to Jeffrey Owens, who recently was found out that he was working at Trader Joe's. He used to play Elvin on the Cosby Show, but allegedly he didn't get his money yet. But anyway, she's a very giving and generous person for the most part. But sometimes that Jupiter Sag energy can be full of hot air. Sometimes they can just be full of shit. And, you know, kind of not stand back on their word. They are a mutable sign. They are apt to, you know, change up quickly and things like that. And like I mentioned before, you know, Sag energy has a big mouth. she definitely doesn't have a filter, just like Cardi, but it's in a different way. It's like it's in a bit more of an intelligent way, especially because she has that, you know, Virgo moon. And I love, you know, how Nicki just threw in like random vocabulary words, because that is so like Sag all day to find like a new vocabulary word. And I'm sorry, y'all, like y'all might think that I'm stupid or whatever, but I'm not sure if I ever heard the word payola in my life. Okay, so Nicki said something about, you know, Cardi has made her career off of sympathy and payola. And I had to look that word up. I use my Google. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know something and I don't. And everybody going to sit here and act like they know what they knew what payola means. So according to Google, it is the practice of bribing someone to use their influence or position to promote a particular product or interest. So it's about bribing and influence and everything like that. And isn't that the entertainment industry anyway? I mean, everybody's bribing people to, you know, put them on and play their music and, you know, sell their products and whatnot. So I don't know how much of that is like really, you know, an insult or whatever the case may be, you know, but that's something that she said. And, you know, she's continuing on with this Queen Radio. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. She should probably be touring right now, and there's, you know, commotion with that, but she's doing the Queen Radio. So I got to see what aspect and transits kind of point to that. It's definitely her Mars is contributing to it, because, you know, she's wanting to take action right now. She's not letting anything slide. Like I said before, Nicki has time, and, you know, she is going to speak her piece. So let me take a look at this a little bit further here so that I can see, okay, well, the transiting sun, which is in Virgo, is squaring her natal sun right now. So that's not good. That's prompting her to do this. What's Mercury doing? Transit Mercury is trying to her Mercury. So that's lending support for her to be able to do this radio show. Mercury has to deal with communication, so it's working. So she's going to be doing that. Mercury trine Venus, same thing. That's actually good for music too. It's good for her to get back into the studio, the recording studio, to make some more music as well. The transit Mars is trining her moon right now. So this is kind of like, I guess, low-key a good time for her to be, you know, doing this radio show and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's successful enough where she's, you know, where she continues to do it. So on Apple Music. So we will see how that kind of pans out, you know, in the long run. But let me take a look at, I looked at all her moon aspects. She, her sun is pretty afflicted in terms of challenging aspects here. She has sun semi-square Mars. That's her issue that she has with men, particularly men in business, because Mars is in Capricorn. And, you know, she went through the whole gambit of, you know, certain DJs, you know, not wanting to play her music and stuff like that, because she, you know, because whatever she said about, you know, DJ Self and, you know, other people and stuff like that, DJ Envy doesn't want to play her music. So it's a lot of stuff going on with that. Obviously, the stuff with Safari, that was the news a few weeks ago when Queen came out. It's just, you know, it's a lot with Nicki's chart, I have to say. It's quite a bit here. And in reference to her Aquarius rising, remember I talked about how Aquariuses can come off kind of cold, and then she has her Mars and Capricorn right on Aquarius, and the original ruler for Aquarius is Saturn. So like it's really interesting, because she is capable of actually not caring and not giving a fuck about stuff. You know what I mean? Because Aquarius doesn't really have a heart. You know, it's all mental, it's all cerebral. But the thing about it is that she has this moon in Virgo. That moon in Virgo makes her care so much. That makes her want to get online and type and talk on Queen Radio and talk about her perspective. And it's at the 27th degree, so that breaks down the 9, which is Mars energy. Mars is very prominent in her chart. So, you know, it's something that is like that she kind of just can't help, like Cardi. And I want to point out, when I mention that, you know, this is innate for somebody or they just can't help it, that's not making an excuse for them. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't try to adjust or work through their obstacles and things like that. This is just the energy that these two women are working with in their natal chart, and I'm explaining where it's coming from. So I'm not making excuses for it at all. I'm just explaining, you know, where it's coming from and things like that. So, you know, Nicki is a very interesting is a very interesting character in terms of her natal chart, and you know, she's about justice when it benefits her. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, really about always doing the right thing, although it can kind of end up being that way sometimes or accidentally, but she's definitely out for her own best interest most times. And that goes all the way back to that Capricorn South node. I don't really think that she's really tapped into that Cancer North node yet. I mean, obviously, I don't know her personally, but what she's been doing publicly, and Capricorn does have to deal with the public, it's not really displaying that. You know what I mean? It's like this whole, you know, feuding thing with mostly with female rappers, you know, and females in general, not just rappers, Mariah Carey, you know, Miley Cyrus, or some other people and things like that that she's feuded with. So it's not just female rappers, but female rappers are they get the brunt of it because that's, you know, them taking, you know, her spot. And she mentioned something about how she would be down for a ladies night remake and stuff like that, working with other female rappers, and that's conducive to her north node in Cancer. But I don't really know if she's really down for that. Like, she really kind of just wants to do this by herself, and she's always doing collaborations with people, but it's hardly ever women. Hardly ever. And you know, she's had this long-standing feud with Lil Kim. Lil Kim just so happens to be a Cancer. That's ironic. You know, so obviously she's also had the feud with Remy Ma. Remy Ma is a Gemini that's directly opposite all of her Sag energy and things like that. So that's, you know, compounding, you know, against her and things like that. She has issues with some people with Gemini energy, I would say. But yeah, it's very interesting with her natal chart in terms of how, you know, she deals with women and how she, you know, publicly a lot of times doesn't really get along with women. But there are a lot of women who do like her, who do admire her, who love her. Let me stop. Like the Barbs, they go up for her, and that is a complete display of all of that 11th house energy that has to deal with groups and organizations. In her instance, it would be, you know, these fandoms, these fan clubs or whatever. It's not even like fan clubs anymore. It's just like these fan names, and they make these pages, and they, you know, support these artists, and they go hard, and they send her receipts of shit that's going down, and you know what I'm saying? So that represents them, you know, wanting to go to bat for her all the way. Now, I do want to mention something. Like when she mentioned on Queen Radio, when she was referencing the whole you know, Cardi B altercation, and she was like saying, I'm paraphrasing, when you mess with certain people, you gonna die, or something like that. Yes, that was a lot, but you gotta, you know, understand that, you know, Nicki has to talk a big game, because Cardi be knuck if you buck, she be ready. And Cardi, you know, is known for being affiliated with gangs and things like that. So Nicki is not, you know, taking any chances. I heard that she hired extra security and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame her for saying I'm staying right where I am, or whatever was said during the altercation, those videos that are floating all around the internet and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, like, I definitely don't think that Nicki Minaj would personally put her hands on Cardi, but Cardi would do that to her. But Nicki Minaj would call somebody up to like handle Cardi. She would do something like that, in my opinion, because, you know, she's a little bit too high and mighty for that. That's the Sagittarius' mind, although they do throw hands. So it's so like, it's such a dichotomy and stuff like that, because they are capable of fighting and throwing hands and stuff like that, but they got this, you know, holier than thou, you know, I'm, you know, on a higher level than you, I'm better than you, you're my peasants, and this and that type of energy. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind when it comes to Nicki. But so I just wanted to add a little tidbit in reference to Nicki Minaj about her, you know, desire to stay on top by any means necessary. We've heard all of the accounts of different people, Cardi and Remy both, but other people co-signing that, you know, she's been stopping other women's bags, particularly, you know, female rappers, but other, you know, females as well in the industry, you know, telling people, you know, saying that she's not going to show up for award shows if this person is there, telling people if they work with this person, you know, Nicki's not going to work with them and things like that. So those rumors, you know, have been circulating. And like I said before, it all goes back to that Capricorn South Node, by any means necessary, staying on the top. So I would say Nicki has it pretty bad in reference to this, this Cancer Capricorn nodal axis. Like, she's really going to have to work really hard to get towards that Cancer North Node, because she has a lot of stuff working against her. She has all of this 26 energy in her chart, which the 26 breaks down to 8. 8 is Saturn energy. Saturn rules Capricorn. So she's so like not naturally the nurturing, you know, emotionally available, you know, type of person, you know, intuitive type. Well, she is intuitive because she does have the Aquarius and Sag energy, but that warm, fuzzy, cozy, you know, motherly type of person, you know what I mean? And this doesn't mean, you know, quit your career and just go and have babies. It's just, you know, a nurturing type of, you know, attitude and demeanor. And it's, she has a lot of things that are kind of working against her that's going to make it a lot more difficult for her to go towards that North Node. But I did just want to point that out before I ended this video. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.